Welcome back! Global Builder's Guide Episode 2. I'm Enigmius, and this is another turtle-built tower with ladders. Now, I wish I could say that this was a quick and easy process, just adding ladders to the coordinate table and saying, okay, Mr. Turtle, whenever you're placing these guys, you have to be facing a particular direction. It took a complete rework of the building script, which is fine. It's fine. It was important that we add this functionality to put things like ladders and possibly torches on structures as they're being built. Otherwise, they become inaccessible or largely inaccessible to people who don't have things like jetpacks and flying suits and creative mode and flying pigs, whatever people use to fly. We wanted to make sure that the people who don't have that aren't left out. Now, I had some errors in the way I set up the coordinate file, just the data that it's using to build it, and you see at the very top of the tower, all the ladders go on the other side, which easy enough to fix. So one of the main issues that I have to work through and decide whether or not I want to fix is, even though we're telling the turtle to place a ladder in a particular direction, if it's got a block to the right or to the left or to the front where it could place that item, it'll place it on the right hand side instead of directly in front of the turtle, which can be a bit of a pain when it comes to ladders. Now, it's still functional to have ladders going on the right-hand side as opposed to in front, because it still allows you to get up top and fix it on your own, but that's kind of not ideal. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get that sorted out, and the best way to go from here, since we're done building, is to head on out and take a look at things from the first-person perspective. And so here we are. I've got a tower on the left of me. This is the original tower. I've added ladders to it. I just put them on manually. And I added the crow's nest sort of thing to the top. I don't think have I put a computer up here yet? Yes, I did. Yay me. And then over here is the new tower that had some issues. I fixed the problem with the ladder. It wasn't a huge one. One of the things that I found after it was done being built, I just wanted to test and see how it would impact the ability to actually climb the ladder with it alternating between being on the central pillar and being on the right side and those details there. Kind of a pain. When you're moving up, you can move from being, having the ladders in front of you like this and transition very cleanly to having them on the right side. You don't even notice. And then as soon as you get to the top of those and it's time to transition back to the ones in the front, you would have to hop up on top of the little tower segment there and then continue on up the ladder until it did the little switch, and then you would have to hop off and continue on up to the top. So obviously, I've got two options. I can try and work a fix into the actual algorithms for the turtles themselves in terms of how they build certain things, specifically for ladders. The one thing that I can say about that before I even start on it is it would not be a perfect solution. There would still be situations where it would be very, very possible for things to be placed oddly or not in the way that you might want or expect, would be another way of putting it. But there's the opportunity to at least improve the algorithms. I'm just not sure if it's worth the time and effort at this point. It's in the back of my mind. I've got the idea. I want to kind of move forward a little bit with some of the different things that we're going to be doing. And suffice it to say, if a person were to build a tower like this and encounter that issue with the ladders going on the wrong side, it's entirely possible without the aid of a jetpack or flying pig or whatever a person happens to use to get around easily, to use the ladders themselves to work off of while they go and correct the situation. They can break off the ones on the right side and put them on the front, so to speak. So that's not that big of a deal. What I really wanted to show you guys was some of the things that I've done with the turtle themselves, specifically regarding managing their inventory. Now, again, I've got that string and nil error, which I actually think I fixed. I just haven't rerun the turtle since I did it. But we'll rerun the turtle now because I did a little bit of tweaking, adjusting. One of the things you might be able to see is the slot selector is moving through the turtle's inventory, taking a look at everything that's there, and then it shows you a bit of a readout. It's not formatted ideally. It's, kind of ugly, but it gives you some basic information. The turtle's ID, how much fuel the turtle currently has, whether or not it's connected to a GPS network, and whether or not it's got a modem attached. And then it gives you a readout of the inventory. And this is, like I say, not the best formatting, but the whole idea here is it's gone through and it's compared everything in the inventory. It doesn't know what stone is. It doesn't care. It doesn't know the difference between stone and apples. It knows that if it compares a stone to an apple that they're different. But suffice it to say, if I were to replace all the stone in this inventory with apples, it would try and build a tower out of apples if I told it to. So the turtle isn't aware of exactly what's in its inventory, but it is aware enough that it can compare different inventory types and use those when indexing materials based on the coordinate file so that it knows what to build. That's how it was using ladders instead of stone when it was time to place a ladder. And there was a mix-up with the coordinate file, and the turtle never actually got a chance to try and place a computer. But you get the idea. It's able to distinguish different types of things in its inventory now and catalog up to 16 different types of materials in its inventory, which is kind of neat, which means the turtle can be building with 16 different types of materials all within the same chunk without any issues. Now, there are some settings that would reduce the amount of available inventory. For example, if you wanted to carry fuel with you at all times, you would only be able to carry 15 different kinds of materials because the 16th slot would be reserved for fuel. And if the turtle was in survey mode, it would need 3 additional slots set aside for workspace, which would allow 12 different slots for building materials. Kind of odd that you would have building and surveying going on at the same time, but you never know. It's just a thing. So the way this is working is it's indexed stone as item 1, because that's what it found first when it started doing this. And in its comparisons, it found that in slot 1, item 1 had 52. In slot 2 was item 1 again, or item type, I guess I should say more accurately, had 64. You can see it's a full stack. Slot 3, item type 1 again, 64. So it's done that. And then for the next several slots, there were no items. And obviously, that means no item type, because no items means 0. Picking up again at slot 11, it's a different item type this time. The turtle doesn't know what it is. It just knows it's not the same as the first item type. So it's item type 2. It has 13. Item type 2 again in slot 12 has 64. So you can see slot 14 is item type 3, has 1 computer, and item type 4 for 1 modem. So it's managing its inventory to an extent. I've got to do a couple of really minor routines just for sort of cleanup as it goes, so that the inventory doesn't get too wonky. And then I think we're approaching the time where I need to set up its sort of workspace by way of a dock of some sort so it can refuel, resupply, do all those things that it needs to do at a central location. I was going to try and get that done before this episode, but I got busy with, rewriting the whole building sort of shenanigan. What can you do? Sometimes that's just how things work out. So basically, that's all I've been doing, is getting the turtle to be kind of semi-aware of what it's carrying. A little bit more intelligent about the way it refuels itself. It's not super piggy anymore. If you give it a certain amount of fuel, let's say you give it a complete full chest of coal that it has access to, it will still only consume a certain amount before it says, okay, this is my maximum limit. I'm not going to consume any more coal. Very important when we start getting into multiple turtles that we don't have one piggy turtle that eats all the fuel and the rest can't do anything because all the fuel is gone. So there was that we built in. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe it's not time to start thinking about switching over to advanced computers and monitors, even though we haven't really done anything with the monitor on this one. All it would be really is display for multi-turtle sort of functionality. So we'll see how it goes. It depends on what our first structure after the towers ends up being. If it's the kind of thing where it makes sense to do it with multiple turtles, then we'll stick with the standard monitors and the standard computer just so that we can get that management sort of display thing. This is what each of your turtles is doing sort of thing. And then advance to the advanced monitors. And the latest version of Computercraft just came out as well that has advanced turtles. I haven't really seen a full demonstration of exactly what they can do. If all it is color monitor on the turtle, then there's no need for us to upgrade. But if there's really cool features, might need to take a look at that. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. I don't want to rush. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, otherwise nothing gets done. The next episode ideally would be the third horizontal plane GPS tower going into place somewhere over there, as well as I'm going to get it, which means if I decide not to refine the block placement thing for placing things in a certain direction, then I won't. Otherwise, the tower should build itself properly and completely from the ground up. And then we can get the last one in for the vertical plane comparison for the GPS, and then we'll have turtles on GPS, and we can start doing some larger things, some more interesting things that we can hopefully share. So that's kind of cool. That's what I've been working on. Probably get the next episode out again in the next 2, 3, maybe. I don't want to say 4 days, but it might be. You never know. It's hard to say. Trying to get them out as fast as I can without just, here's a 3-minute video showing you how I made it print a 0 instead of a 1. That would be riveting. I think that would be just fantastic. So leave your comments and feedback below, as always. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.